Abraham. I'm fighting against overweight for over years. I try to follow your advices, check my beliefs about food, listen to tapes, but I'm still gaining more weight. What should I do?
Well, it's interesting that at least in this conversation, your attention is completely upon weighing more than you want to weigh. And since it is what is most dominant on your mind here in this conversation, it is likely that it is what is dominant on your mind most of the time. In other words, what you feel is your point of attraction. So the question, and it's a sort of hard question, or the behavior, and it's not necessarily the easiest thing to come to, is how can I feel thin when I'm not? How can I feel a robust metabolism when it doesn't seem like I have one? How can I get my mind off of what I don't want and on what I do want? And we say, it isn't easy, but that is your work. You have to retrain the way you feel about your body. You have to retrain the way you feel in your body, which means you either have to remember a time when it was more like you want it to be, or you have to imagine a time when it's more like you want it to be, because what you're thinking and how you're feeling and what's coming next are always a vibrational match.
Yeah.
Do you think that in your vortex you stand with the ideal body weight? Does that make sense to you? Does it seem to you that your ideal body weight would be happening in the vortex?
Yes, sure. Mm-hmm.
And can you look into the vortex? Can you see that, or has it not yet manifested so you can't see it?
I can see it. It manifested already, yes. Mm-hmm.
What's in your vortex has already manifested?
Yes, before.
So you know that it can be done?
Yes.
So what do you think makes it so difficult that you cannot hold your thoughts on what you want? Day-to-day evidence.
Yes. Yes.
So you have to find a way of making peace with the day-to-day evidence. In other words, I am where I am and that's okay, and I'm on my way to something else. There's a big vibrational difference between saying, I'm all right where I am and it's getting better, and saying, it's not all right where I am. A huge vibrational difference. Can you feel it?
Yes.
So that really is the answer. If you could make peace with where you are. People think that it's the opposite. They think, if I make peace with where I am, I'll stay here. But that's not what happens at all. When you make peace with where you are, there's now a lifting of resistance which allows you to move toward what's in your vortex. Isn't that interesting? Making peace with what is. So liking how you look, feeling good how you look, being proud of what you've come to, appreciating your body and all of its functions, wearing clothing that feels good, wearing clothing that looks good to you. In other words, making peace with where you are. Because when you stand in condemnation or in unhappiness about where you are, it really makes it a slow, slow journey to any improvement. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you approach it vibrationally, and you understand that resistance is the only thing that holds you back from anything you want, and then you realize that being down on how you look, feeling negative about how you currently look, is constant application of resistance, when you stop that, it's going to make a big difference. Sometimes people fall in love and they get their mind off of that. Or sometimes people find themselves in another situation that's occupying a lot of their thought, and without even realizing it, they begin to lose weight. And it's because they are distracted from the subject of such great resistance, you see.
Okay.
Be easy about it. Have fun with it. And enjoy the journey. And enjoying the journey means you have to like where you are beginning the journey.
Yes.
Yes. Very good.
Great. Thank you.
Perhaps the most frequently asked question has something to do with physical body. And the thing about anything that has to do with your physical body that makes it a little more prone to have resistance within it is that you take your physical body everywhere you go. You are infinitely aware of your physical body, of how it feels, of how your clothes feel upon you, of how you feel in your skin, of how much energy you have. Everything that you are perceiving through the lens of this physical body. And so your body is a big deal. It plays a big part of the energy, of the vibration that is you. So when you realize that the way you feel is so key to everything else that's going on, and you decide that you're going to feel good about your physical body, that's tricky, isn't it? There are a lot of people who would say, no, I have to come to terms with it, and I have to acknowledge that I'm not where I want to be, and I have to point out the things that I do not like about it so that I can identify and move from those things. And we say, you've already done that. You've been doing that. You've created a veritable vortex full of physical improvements relative to your physical body in terms of the way it feels and looks and moves, about your clarity, about your weight, about your health. There's a huge vibrational body for you, waiting for you in your vortex. And your vortex is calling you to it. You would not have to do one other thing. You don't have to identify one thing. You don't have to set one goal. You don't have to get on any sort of regimen. All you have to do is find a way of releasing the resistance, which is the only thing that is disallowing the full picture of that good-feeling, good-looking body from coming into full view, for you to translate it into a full manifested form. Been talking recently about how your vortex actually will do the work. But you have to do the work of getting into the vortex. So you have to get into the vortex first, and then the vortex will affect the manifestation. When it comes to your physical body, usually you don't try to do that. You put yourself on a diet of deprivation, or you put yourself on an exercise regime that is difficult and uncomfortable. You try to take the action that will bring it about. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, the action that we would take would be, I'm going to do whatever I can, whenever I can, to get into the vortex as often as I can, understanding that from inside the vortex will give the inspiration, give the ideas, actually affect the manifestation to give me exactly what I'm looking for. The vortex is a sort of magical thing, but you have to get into the vortex in order to feel the power of it, you see. And you can't be in the vortex and be dissatisfied with something that is currently happening in your experience right now. You can't be in the vortex and be unhappy with your weight, or unhappy with your look, or unhappy with your clothing, or unhappy with your physical condition, or with your clarity. You can't be unhappy and be in the vortex. So you have to go general.
For more updates, subscribe to our channel, click the show links and enjoy watching the videos.